What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about developing resilience and maintaining motivation during the early stages. Now, when I say early stages, I mean business and entrepreneurship, but let me be precise for a moment. Maintaining motivation doesn't necessarily happen. However, what I'm going to teach you today is there are things that you can build to surpass motivation, specifically when you're not motivated. And that's the meat and potatoes of today's show. So let's get into it. So, developing resilience. Okay. Maintaining motivation. Meh. But definitely needed in the early stages. Number one, build your habits. What do I mean by this? Let's talk about it. Let's say you watching want to be in better shape. So what do? You build new habits. Maybe you go for a walk on a daily basis. Maybe you go to the gym, do some cardio, start eating right, sleeping well. You replace old habits with new habits to achieve what it is you're looking for. So when it comes to business, replacing bad habits like maybe sitting on the couch and watching Netflix for 10 hours a day, or, drinking every single night and you can't think the next day when you wake up, and replacing those with productive habits to become resilient in the early stages of business. Like, all right, maybe I'm not going to sit on the couch for 10 hours. I'll sit on the couch for 2 hours, but I'll make 10 sales calls. You are building a habit of reaching out to 10 people on a daily basis. Maybe you need to build a habit of giving a meeting on a daily basis, building a habit of monitoring your customers and clients and the transactions on a daily basis. I know the things that I'm talking about don't sound too exciting, but the key is to remember that the unsexy stuff, like we're talking about, are the habits that need to be built to build resilience and maintain something of motivation during the early stages. The second thing we're going to talk about is consistency. Consistency of those habits, showing up on a daily basis and making those 10 sales calls, showing up on a daily basis and managing those customers and clients, showing up on a daily basis and giving your team or teams the meetings that they need. The consistency is the key, whether it's 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or like me, 7 days a week. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. When it comes to consistency and habits, do them 7 days a week, not 5. Doesn't have to be all day long, but at least do the consistency and habits daily, 7 days a week, to really nail down those two things. So when you're not motivated, they continue to happen. Believing in you. To be resilient, you have to believe in yourself. Why? Because no one else is going to believe in you other than maybe your mom and dad, maybe. And if they do, awesome. Some people, they don't. And to put into perspective, even if you've accomplished a bunch of stuff and have a beefy resume and are successful in the eyes of many, people still aren't going to believe in you. So what you need to do is believe in yourself. Look in the mirror and believe in that person. Because when people don't believe in you, you can't let that affect your outcome or the work that you put in on a daily basis. Because people will only start believing in you when you begin to do things like pull up in cars that are more than their salary. Lastly, the growth is in the unsexy stuff. The tasks that you don't want to do. To build resilience, everything that you need to do is in the unsexy stuff, is waking up at maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, is sending the emails, doing the sales calls, giving the meetings, taking the trash out, vacuuming the floor, helping your team, the unsexy stuff. That's what builds the resilience. That's what supersedes the motivation, because you've built the habits and you're consistent with it. And the unsexy stuff is where all of the growth lies. And let me tell you something. The motivation's not in the unsexy stuff. The motivation's not in the consistency and the habits. The motivation is in the people that didn't believe in you and then do, because you stayed resilient for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and begin winning. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. Went a little deep on you, went a little raw on you, went a little blunt on you, maybe a little brash, depending on who's listening, but it's the truth. And I think more truth is needed these days, and that's why I give it to you. If you learned something today, if you have a question, drop a comment. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.